Following the Paris attacks last week, the Mufti of Australia issued a press release. He mourned the loss of the victims of the Paris attacks, after which he highlighted causative factors around violent extremism. This drew unprecedented attention by politicians and the media, which consequently led to a vicious, unjustified campaign of demonisation, ridicule and harassment of the Mufti. The exception was Christopher Pyne, who said the issue of Paris was far too serious than to see who the Mufti did or did not satisfy. The response was nothing short of demeaning and denigrating. The clear sentiments emerging from within the community are that this has been nothing short of abasement and belittlement of the entire Muslim community. It demonstrates in the strongest possible way the shunning and rejection of Muslims. It expresses the intensification of the dichotomy and marginalization that is felt by many, and it produces despondency and sadness. The Mufti's position concerning groups like ISIS is especially well known. Even by those who mischievously seek to inflame, express dissatisfaction regarding his statement. Murder is a crime. Terrorism is a crime. Both have been condemned and will always continue to be condemned by the Mufti and thousands of scholars, not for media attention or the sake of political opportunism, but because faith and humanity demand so. Seeking to remedy a problem and intelligently discerning all possible solutions is not justification. Trying to understand causes is not unusual and neither a new phenomenon, and in fact has been the usual practice of those seeking to get things right. Immediately following the September 11 attacks, the Pentagon conducted an investigation of the driving factors. In addition to that, directly after the Paris attacks, commentators, experts, journalists, academics, leaders, even talk show personalities discussed the motives and reasons as to why these attacks occur. We must be allowed to respond to ISIS and their horrific and inhumane acts with deep historical and political analysis, coupled with critical thinking. The dialogue cannot be to the inclusion of all except Muslims. Neither can the dialogue be condemnation or apology only, excluding discussion of concerns around the catastrophe that has gripped everyone, including Muslims. We feel grief, and part of that grief is to sincerely and genuinely address the issues in order to bring a halt to these horrendous acts. When two of Australia's citizens were on death row in Indonesia, the Mufti, who I know personally, a 70-year-old esteemed scholar himself, travelled to the country and pleaded for their lives. In private, when he was asked why, he said, "I care deeply about the Australian people and deeply for the preservation of life." Never did he commit these virtuous acts to gain favour, but because they are part of the Islamic ethos and universally adopted values. It is certainly a disservice for a man of his stature to be subjected to humiliation and indignity. However, it is not the Mufti who emerges from this in a bad light. This campaign reflects poorly on those who seek to harm without merit. As the Mufti recently stated, in this country we call Australia, we are in each other's backyard. We need to keep an open line of communication so we can express feelings of positivity and well-being to one another.